Okay, so I guess I've had about 2 days to really kind of marinate and think about the whole Q Lite or Project Q handheld that Sony will be launching later this year. And I still just don't think it makes any sense. So this is a handheld that is only for remote play. It can't be used for streaming games from PS Plus. It won't play native games. It's such a limited use device that I just don't see there being much of a market for it. I just don't understand why this is the handheld they're choosing to make, when obviously the Switch has had so much success, when the Steam Deck has sold over 1 million units in I think it was like 9 months or something like that. I just don't understand why this is what they're doing. The audience that would actually want this and use this seems so small, and seems like it'll almost fail and then just justify in their minds that handheld gaming is not what they should be doing. I just don't understand why it would be so limited use. Like I said, if it could stream PlayStation Plus games, because you can stream PlayStation Plus games to a PC, if it could have done that, then that gives it a bit of functionality that would be actually useful, and you could take it out the house and do more with it. But this is literally just remote play. You have to have your PS5. It just seems really unnecessary. I mean, you can do this same thing with an Android handheld or the Steam Deck. And look, there are Android handhelds like the AYN Odin or the Retroid Pocket 3 Plus, and you can do remote play on those devices. Why would you need just a dedicated device for remote play? The design, I think, doesn't look great. They've just basically split a PS5 controller and put a tablet in the middle. I'm sure it's probably comfortable, to be fair, because the PS5 controller is very comfortable. But the way it looks is, I don't know, from my opinion, it doesn't look great as something I'd want to be using as well. A lot of people have been comparing it to the Wii U, which is correct. I mean, the Wii U had that tablet, which basically connected to the system. I think you had to be about 10 or 20 meters away maximum. And you could just play the games from the console onto that tablet. I mean, this is basically the same thing, except you're playing it over the internet. They haven't confirmed yet whether it'll be playable, say, if I was, in another part of the country and then play it over Wi-Fi with my PS5 at home. They haven't kind of confirmed whether that works. What they've really been talking about is playing it using remote play to play your PS5 on another screen at home. So on your PS5, you guys might know that when you have PS Plus, you can stream PS3 games to your PS5. Now, you can't stream those games to the Q Lite, which probably wouldn't work too well because you're kind of streaming to the PS5 and then streaming again to the Q Lite. So you can't do that. It is literally just games that are downloaded on the PS5 could be then remote played with the Q Lite or Project Q. So it really does kind of beg that question that who is this for? How many people are going to use it? And look, I remote play all the time. That's pretty much how I use my PS5. But I've got the AYN Odin. I've got the backbone for my phone. I've connected a controller to my iPad to remote play as well. This seems really unnecessary. In the YouTube advert or YouTube video for this device, they called it an accessory to the PS5, and that's really what it is. It's not a dedicated handheld. It's not something that stands alone in any way. It is just an accessory. And knowing Sony, they're probably going to put a price tag of around $200, maybe more. Knowing them, if the DualSense itself costs like $70, I think the DualSense Edge is like $200. They don't make cheap things. They always overprice things. So I could kind of see it being around $200, but really, given how little can be done with it, given it's just an LCD screen, not an OLED screen, I'd really hope this would be something like $100. I mean, then you'd probably get people giving it a go because it's cheap enough. But I think if it was $150, $200, even higher than that, I think it would really struggle to sell. But I mean, let's see. They haven't given us much details. It is supposed to be coming out around mid-November, according to Tom Henderson, who is an insider, has a lot of information normally. He was the guy that actually talked about this first, I believe, in terms of leaking the device's existence. But I'm just really disappointed. I love the Vita, as you guys know. I love the PSP. Sony make great handhelds, and they make great games for those handhelds. I've had so much fun and enjoyment from the PSP and Vita. I was really hoping the rumors would be wrong, that this wouldn't just be a remote play device. And the more I think about it, the more frustrated I get and disappointed that, they could have done something more. They could have had a device that, the handheld that we really want. We've seen the Steam Deck is successful. If they could have brought out a PlayStation 4 portable, I think that's what everyone would have loved. They don't have to make native games for it, which I think is the problem, because they don't want to split their focus in terms of making it for a handheld and for a console. But, the PlayStation 4 is there. It's still getting lots of games. That as a portable would be awesome. And the Steam Deck seems to be capable of playing a lot of kind of those modern games like Elden Ring and things like that on the Steam Deck. So Sony, knowing how well they make these devices, they could probably have made something awesome. But, here we are. We've got this Project Q coming, and it can only be used by people that have a PS5 and that want to play their games somewhere else in the house and don't already have, or don't want to have, like a Steam Deck or Android handheld, which will do a lot more. So, yeah, really disappointed, guys. I think it seems like the reaction on the internet, on Twitter and YouTube is generally disappointment as well. I've seen a few people say they want it. And look, I can understand that it'll be comfortable. And if you do remote play, then I'm sure it'll be a good device for that. I mean, I would hope that Sony have made it so there's very low latency. But like I said, you can do these things with the Steam Deck already, and that does a lot more. So I'm just not sold at all on why they're doing this and why, if they think it's going to sell at all, or, what their expectations are. Because I can't see it having much success at all. Like even selling 1 million units, I can't see that even happening. Because you're talking about limiting the market to people who just have the PS5, which right now is around 45 million. And then the people who, of those 45 million, the people who would use remote play and then who don't already have or don't want to have, say, a Steam Deck, which is like $300. So I don't get it. But let's see what happens, guys. Let me know in the comments. What are your thoughts on this? Is this something you're interested in? Do you share my disappointment? Leave a comment below. And as always, thanks for watching.